Shalom, everyone. Our topic, as you see here, and I believe you could read it, if not, I will translate it, is Jewish identity. Jewish identity in our time, and our place in the world, in our point in the history. This thing needs to be clarified because many people are confused about what is the meaning to be Jewish. So before I start, I want to dedicate this shiur לזכות ולרפואה שלמה ומהירה של ירון ניר בן מינה ואברהם ירפאו השם, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. He just went through a very bad accident, and I hope Hashem will send him real heal soon. So everything that we'll say, it will be a zchut of limud Torah of ours and for him too. Okay, who was the first Jew in the world?
Abraham.
Yeah, but he was not Jewish. Abraham, and let's explain. So I will put over here three names. Three names: Abraham, Avraham Avinu, then his grandson Yaakov, which Hashem changed his name from Yaakov to Israel. And he has 12 tribes, as you know. One of them is Yehuda. Yehuda is number 4. Was Reuven first, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Those names are very important in order to understand the things that we want to learn today and need to clarify. The time back from our time to Avraham Avinu is approximately 4,000 years. 4,000 years. At the time, when Avraham Avinu was born, he was born to an idol worshiper family. The entire society of the world at this time was idol worshippers, and we'll try to explain the idea of idol worshippers. It's not that simple the way many people understand it. Today, we think that, someone who worships idols, let's say take a cow and say, this is a holy cow, let's bow down to it, we'll do it, we'll have health, we'll have long life, we'll have money. It seems to us completely dumb, you have to be completely retarded to believe that these things and this action will bring you anything. It seems like very, very primitive. But we have to know that it's not that primitive, because we have in the Torah, I believe you heard the number 613? 613 mitzvot, right? You have to know that the value of life is so high that if you have, in order to do a mitzvah, or not, to prevent yourself from doing something that's not good, that avera, if your life is at stake, you have to prefer your life over the mitzvah. And pikuach nefesh, the life of a Jew, is more than any mitzvah in the Torah. Actually, not any, 610. Only 3 mitzvot in the Torah, you have to give your life and not do it even if it will cost you your life. The 3 mitzvot are avodah zarah, gilui arayot, u'shfichut damim. Avodah zarah meaning worshipping idols, killing, murdering. If someone tell you either you're going to kill this person or I'm going to kill you, you are not allowed to kill the person to save your life. Okay? And the other thing is gilui arayot, not proper relationships, sexual relationships. For this, you have to put your life, the value of these 3 things are more than the life. The number 1 of the 3 is idol worshipping. And if it's so stupid and so primitive, why Hashem told us, give your life and don't do this? So we have to know that idol worshipping is very, very sophisticated thing, and therefore very, very dangerous. Let's explain a little bit. Any reasonable person that look around will realize that he, she are very helpless in any area. We have many things that we take for granted. our health, and other stuff, the fact that we exist. There are so many conditions that should be there in order for us to exist. And when you think about it, you know that you need to rely on a strong power that could really give you everything that you need. So this is not wrong. This is the reality. This is the real reality. You have to rely on a strong power. What is this strong power? So, of course, the strong power is the creator of the universe. He created the entire universe. He created us. He gave us the ability to live, to have whatever we have. But here's the problem. There is something called avodah zarah. Avodah is when you, in Hebrew, the main letter, the root of the word avodah, avodah is work, workship, work. When you go to work, the main letters, the root of the word avodah, are the letters ayin, bet, daled. Ayin, bet, daled, which is a slave, a slavery. When you go to work in the morning, you have to know you are a slave. You're a slave to your mortgage, you're a slave to the expenses of life. And therefore, you do things, and many people go to work and they do not like whatsoever what they're doing, but they're doing it because they have to. Because who's going to pay the rent? Who's going to pay the mortgage? Who's going to pay my expenses? So I'm doing it not because I like it, in many cases, but because I have to. Now, because if we think we are really dependent on the nature and on everything to function in the right way in order to give us ability to exist. So, of course, the true thing is to understand that the one who is in charge of everything is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, the master of the universe. But because when Hashem created the world, when Hashem created the Creator created the creation has two parts. One part's called Shamayim, one part called Aretz. Now, Shamayim and Aretz is not what we think. Shamayim is the spiritual dimension in the universe that actually give, let's say, even the simple sky. We need rain, right? The rain comes from the sky. The physical rain, the physical drops of the rain come from the sky. They come from up down. They go on the ground and make the ground, give the ability to grow things. So those are the relationships between the spiritual dimension and the physical dimension. The physical dimension is a recipient that need to get from outside, from above, a flow that will make it exist. Okay? Now, Hashem created, let's say, the sun. We are here and we see the sun. You know that the sun has many contribution to the fact that, let's say, the plants growing, the trees growing. So people look at this and say, you know what? In order to exist, we need the power of the sun, the power of other stuff. And that caused them to appreciate the things that God created, but they relate to them, to those mediators. They are powers, but they are mediators. And people relate to them and ignore the power above them, which is God. Okay? That's the way idol worshipping started. So in Hebrew, we call, in the Torah, we call the idol worshippers Ovdei Kochavim Umazalot, the one who worship the stars and the zodiac. Now, the stars and the zodiac there is a real thing, which is spiritual flow that go through the stars and get to us. Now, people say, of course, we exist because of the flow that comes from the stars, not from the actual stars, because the stars are physical, and the flow is spiritual. but it goes through it like a water goes through pipes, right? Avodah Zarah, Hashem told us, and actually it's not just for us as Jews, this is one of the 7 mitzvot of every human being in the world. Sheva mitzvot b'nei Noach. The first mitzvah is, no any human being in the world allow to worship anything and relate to it as God, but the creator of the universe. For us, it's very, very severe avera to relate to someone else or something else that Hashem created as the main power. And this is the idea of Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah meaning to be slave or servant of something that zar, it's not the real thing. It's not the real thing. Okay. Now, here come Avraham Avinu to the picture. Avraham Avinu was born, as I said, to idol worshiper society, idol worshiper family. The business of the family was to sell symbols. It's all symbols. Even the cow, the holy cow that until now is in India, it's a symbol of a spiritual power, right? So Avraham Avinu was born to this society, and as a kid, he started to think about, he asked questions about everything that was so popular at his time. And from himself, he got to the conclusion, he didn't have any teacher, from himself, he got to the conclusion that it could not be. There must be one power that above all powers, and this is a whole long thing to go to analyze how he got to this reality, to this conclusion, but he got to the conclusion that there is only one power that runs the entire world. And that was the beginning of what we call today Judaism. At the time, it's not Judaism, it's just an understanding that there is only one real significant power. And all the rest, even if they have power, their power is not within them. They got their power from outside. And the one who has the power, and he didn't get it from anything, from anywhere, is the Creator. Okay? That's called Emunah Be'el Echad. That there is only one God. Okay? So that was how Abraham started. From that, he got to many conclusions. He deduced from it. If there is a creator, meaning that there is a purpose to the creation. Because the creation is so sophisticated, so complicated, right? So if it was not just happened randomly, someone put it together, for sure there is a purpose. What is the purpose? That was his next question. After he realized that there is one power, and it must be that there is a creator. So what's the purpose of the creation? He got, through looking around the world, to understand that there is a purpose. Let me explain this. This is something very, very deep. I don't know if you heard about this, maybe some of you. The Zohar says, in the Kabbalah, it says, and actually it's mentioned also in the Midrash, that when Hashem created the world, when the Creator created the world, He has a blueprint. And the blueprint, that actually everything was designed based on this blueprint, is the Torah. You ever heard about that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu istakel b'Torah v'bara et ha'olam. The Torah was the blueprint. Now, how we do not understand, because we think that we know what Torah is. You read the stories, you think this is Torah. But okay, how it's the blueprint of every atom, every element in the universe. You could not see that when you read the simple level of the Torah. So the Torah has deeper levels. There are 4 levels: Pardes, Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. And in the depth, in the secret, over there are the principles, that the blueprint of everything that exists, ever exists, and not just the elements, but the history and everything that's happening, everything is in the Torah. So that's what the Zohar says. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Hashem created the world, He looked at the Torah and created the world. Avraham Avinu was born here in this world. And he has no connection to any teachers. He doesn't have any teachers. He just looked at the world. He got to the conclusion, as I said before, that there is a creator. But when he looked deeper in the creation, from the creation, he understood the Torah. Because it goes both ways. If the Torah is the blueprint was before the creation, right? So this is the blueprint. The outcome of it, the function of the blueprint is the universe. If you look at the universe really thoroughly, you could deduce from the universe the blueprint. That's how Avraham Avinu, from looking in the world, he realized the Torah. Not just the mitzvot of the Torah, the depth of the Torah. Hashem look at the Torah, create the world. Avraham look at the world and learn the Torah. That was the beginning. As you know, Hashem told him in Parashat Lech Lecha, go separate from the rotten, wrong society that you are in. Go to a certain place. There is a certain place in the world that over there you could make this revolution and make it known the truth that you realize, that there is God and there is purpose. And he sent them to the land of Israel. At the time it was the land of Canaan. He sent them there, and that was the beginning. Then Hashem told Avraham Avinu, I'm going to make out of you a great nation. Ve'escha legoy gadol. I'll make out of you a great nation. So Avraham Avinu himself was not able to bring children to the world, physically, technically, and Hashem made this miracle, and at the age of 100, he got his baby Yitzchak, which is our second forefather, right? Avraham, Yitzchak. And I'll skip and go to Yaakov, because Yaakov is a very important figure here. Yitzchak also, for sure. I'm not diminishing any one of the three Avot, right? We have Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Yaakov was born with a twin, Esav. And Esav was just the opposite of him, and it was all conflict started even in the womb before they were born, and later on, and then Hashem told Rivka, when she was pregnant with Yaakov and Esav, those two fetus, those two babies, going to be a fathers of two nations, and those two nations will fight with each other to the end of the history. At a certain point, Hashem changed the name of Yaakov from Yaakov to Israel. I will not go to the details, but you have to understand the meaning of the names. Yaakov, in Hebrew, connected to the word Akev, which is a hill. Hill is the last low part of the body, the hill. Yaakov was called Yaakov because when he was fighting with Esav jumped first and he became the firstborn. But Yaakov was holding him in his heel in order to try to change it without success. But anyway, because of this, he was called Yaakov, which is, he is the low compared to Esav. At a certain point, Hashem switched his name from Yaakov to Israel, and you have to understand that Israel is just the opposite of Yaakov in the meaning. The Zohar said that if you take the word Israel, it says in the Kabbalah, not just in the Zohar, you'll find over here the word Rosh, head, Rosh, right? You have the Resh, the Aleph, and the Shin, Rosh. And if you take the last, the letters that in the side, from the left and from the right, you will get the word Li. Li Rosh. Israel is Li Rosh, which is, the Rosh is just the top when the hill is the bottom, right? So the switch was from the bottom to the top. From Yaakov to Israel. What is the meaning of this? It's not just playing with words. Every word is a whole concept, very deep concept. Yaakov was actually the father of Klal Israel, right? We called Israel. I'm not talking about the state of Israel. We called Israel. In the Torah, Hashem called us Bnei Israel. We are the children of Israel, right? What is Israel? What is the meaning Li Rosh? The letters Aleph Lamed at the end of Israel, Aleph Lamed, is El. El is God, Elokim, right? Yisrael, we just finished Megillat Esther, right? And it's very probably related to the congregation here. It was in Persia at the end. So, remember in the Megillah we just read a week ago? It says, Liot kol ish sorer beveito umedaber bilshon amo. That everyone will be a ruler, a master. From here come the word in Hebrew, sar, minister, someone who is leading. So Yisrael, actually, the inside of the meaning of the word Israel is Srarat Ha'el, that Hashem is the master, is the leader, is the master of the universe. This is the meaning of the name Yisrael. Fine, so those are two meanings of Israel, Li Rosh, and the master of the world. So our name as a nation, Israel, actually in the world is the entire slogan or entire philosophy of what we believe in. We believe that Hashem is the one and the only one who runs the entire universe. Created it, managing it, directing it to its destination. We have to know that our philosophy, our ideology, draws so much fire. And this is the base of what's called anti-Semitism. The people, the population of the world, the nations of the world do not like this idea, that there is one power who runs the show. And all of them called Ovdei Kochavim Umazalot. They prefer to relate to the mediator's powers and ignore the power. Why? Why they prefer that? And why our belief that there is only one significant power, which is God, why this bothers them so much? So I'll explain this. It's a little bit deep. I hope I could deliver it in a way that everyone could relate. There is a huge difference philosophically between one and two, or one and more than one, between singular and plural. What's the significant philosophically? If there is only one power, we are all obligated to this power. We have no choice, because there is only one. But if it will be more than one, then we are not obligated. Not just we are not obligated, we could choose between the 2 or 3 or 4 or 100 what we want. And that's the entire secret. Let me explain this in a way Be'ezrat Hashem it will be understood. God created us, and it says in the Torah, He created us in the image of God, in His image. But Hashem doesn't have any image. Image is something that we could understand in the physical dimensions. Image. Hashem He's not physical. Why Hashem is not physical? Because any physical thing is limited to be in a space and a time is limited. And God is almighty, He has no limits, therefore He has in Him any physical thing. So what is the meaning that He has an image, or He created us in the image of Him? Image, the meaning of image is similarity. Similarity meaning that there is some common denominator between us, human beings, and Hashem. Similarity is not identity. It's not the same. I could say that this desk or table and this chair are similar. People will say, how it's similar? This is a desk, this is a chair. But I could say, you know what? In the material, they made out of metal, same metal, or made out of wood, or the color is the same. So when I say it's similar, I do not mean they're identical, but there are some common denominator. This is the meaning of this. Now when Hashem created Adam, created man, in the image of God, we have a body. Hashem doesn't have a body. The similarity is in one thing. He is the master of the universe, and he gave us some master over something. Over us, controlling the world. This is the similarity. We are in the image of God. He creator. He create many creatures. When it comes to Adam, he didn't create just a creature. He create a mini creator. Each one of us is a mini creator, in a way, that we have something very exclusive that no one else has. No creature in the world has this quality. It's called free will. We are free willers. No creature in the world has free will. I'm sure everyone heard about the laws of nature. The laws of nature dictate everything that's happening. Dictate. There no creature that has a self and identity in a way that he could choose to do that or to do that. The laws of nature force every element to behave or run in a certain way. The only exception is Adam. Adam has a free will, meaning you could be in a situation, you could relate to this in that way, or just the opposite. And it's up to what? Your choice. So in a way, this gives us a lot of power. We are not obligated to the laws of nature in everything. Of course, we are obligated to the law of nature in many, many things, but we have certain areas that we, in the moral identity, in the moral values, to relate to things this way or just the opposite. Because we are similar to God in this, therefore, we do not want, we resist anyone to tell us what to do. You know that? Right? Don't tell me what to do. This is the feeling, the instinctive feeling of me. Let me decide. I want to actualize my free will. Don't tell me what to do. Tell yourself what to do. Let me decide about what I want to do. Therefore, Adam, in a way, resists even Hashem. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to do what other people tell me, either of the king or even of the king of the universe. And here we have this free will. The free will is to accept Hashem as our master and put our wants and needs and what we want to his will because he knows better and he sees things that we do not see, or to rebel against it. And that's what most of the people did, and that led to what happened in the generation of Avraham Avinu. Let's go back. If there is only one power, you are obligated to this one power. This power has power over you, and this is the only power, and that's it. You have to you obligate to it. But if there are more than one power that has some influence of you, now you're free to choose which one you want. Right? In this case, what actually happening? Who is who making the decision? Me. If there is only one power, I have no decision to make. This is reality, that's it. But if there are supermarket of powers, I choose what I want. So I choose my God. So actually, who is God? Me. I'm God. I'm giving the validation to this power to be the power. Okay? So that was the entire fight between Avraham Avinu and Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and the world. And the entire world not believe in one power. Take, for example, the most big and powerful religion in the world, Christianity. They do not believe in one God. They believe in the Trinity, right? In the Trinity. So you have supermarket. You could choose. And even the Muslims that apparently seems that they believe in one God, but it's not enough to believe in one God. You have to really accept His willing. How do you know His willing? We know His willing because of the revelation at Sinai. What the Muslim says, yeah, right, it was revelation at Sinai, but then were many prophets, and the last prophet is Muhammad, and he is the only one who could understand and explain God, and you have to do what he said, right? So they not denying one God, but they manipulate His will, His wants. The only nation in the world that accept God and accept His will the way He revealed it to us is the Jewish people. And this is the meaning of Yisrael. Yisrael is Srarat Ha'el. That Ha'el, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is the master. Srara, Sorer, is the master. And now let's go to Judaism, because we talk about Israel. Now let's go to Yehuda. Yehuda was the fourth son of Yaakov Avinu. There are a few things, I don't know how much I could go to explain this, but let's see. Yehuda, when he was born, just a second. Yeah. When he was born, it says in Sefer Bereshit that Leah, his mother, says the following, ותער עוד ותלד בן ותאמר הפעם אודה את השם. Why Yehuda called Yehuda? Yehuda in Hebrew is todah, להגיד todah, to say thank you. Todah is thank you. So the word lehodot in Hebrew has two meanings. Thank you and confirm. Lehodot, I agree about something, right? So this is the meaning of the name Yehuda. So when Leah has Yehuda, he said, now I have to thank God. Why now? Why? She delivered Reuven before, and Shimon and Levi. Why now she felt that she need to thank? Because she admitted that Yehuda is extra for her. Because Yaakov Avinu has 4 wives, and each one of them supposed to deliver 3, and she got 4. So she said, I have to admit that it's more than I should expect, and therefore, thank you, Hashem. Okay, that was there. And the Gemara says in Masechet Brachot, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says that Leah was the first one who thanked Hashem. Thank Hashem is thank you, and admitting that this is more than I deserve. Okay? We find this in the character of Yehuda in his life. Was a story, I don't know if you remember the story, the story with him and Tamar, which was his daughter-in-law, right? And she became pregnant, and he could deny it and say no. And he admitted. He admitted, and because of that, he saved the babies. Peretz v'Zerach, and from Peretz come David HaMelech and Mashiach. So Yehuda was the one who admits when it was not comfortable to admit. And now let's go back to Megillat Esther. In Megillat Esther, one of the heroes of the Megillah is Mordechai, right? Mordechai and Esther, Mordechai. So if you go to the Megillah, let me see, I don't know if we saw, yeah, here it is. In Megillat Esther, we just read it last week, so you could remember this. It says, איש יהודי היה בשושן הבירה, ושמו מרדכי בן יאיר בן שמעי בן קיש איש ימיני. איש יהודי. Mordechai was not from the descendants of Yehuda. He was from the descendants of Binyamin, Ish Yemini. Binyamin was the last shevet in the Shvatim. So the Gemara asks in Masechet Megillah, Ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan HaBira, and then you go to the names of his fathers and you get to Binyamin. So is he from Yehuda or from Binyamin? So the Gemara says the following, Rabbi Yochanan amar לעולם מבנימין קאתי, והמה יקרא ליהודי שכל הכופר בעבודה זרה נקרא יהודי. Why Mordechai called Yehudi? He was not from the tribe of Yehuda. He was from the tribe of Binyamin. Because he refused to bow down to Haman. We know again, the most severe mitzvah in the Torah is Avodah Zarah. We are not, as Jews, we are not bowing down. Bowing down is meaning that, okay, I accept that you are a ruler. I accept you and your ideas. So of course, Mordechai could not bow down to Haman. Aside from that, the Gemara says that Haman made himself idol. He believed that he is God. So of course, you could not bow down to him. But what this principle of Mordechai caused? A death on the entire nation. That's the story of the Megillah, right? Because he refused to bow down to Haman, Haman got mad on the Jewish people and he wanted to eliminate the entire Jewish nation. So the Gemara says here, why Mordechai called Yehudi? Because he admit on the truth, even under a death penalty, even under putting the entire nation in the dangers of elimination. That Yehudi is admitting for the truth, even in very, so to say, uncomfortable situations. There is something very interesting. We all called Yehudim, even though Yaakov Avinu has 12 tribes. No one of us know from what tribe we are. We assume that we are from Yehuda, but we have among us people that for sure are not from Yehuda, from the tribe of Yehuda. The Kohanim and the Leviim. The Kohanim and the Leviim is from Shevet Levi. And yet, we're calling everyone Yehudi. Why? We should be called Israel. Like the Torah called us Israel, Bnei Israel. So here comes something very interesting that I don't know if you ever learned it. At the end of the last day of the life of Yaakov Avinu, he gathered together all the Shvatim, it's Parashat Vayechi, and he gave each one of them a blessing. That's the bracha, the blessing that he gave to Yehuda. It says here like this. Yaakov Avinu saying to Yehuda, יהודה, אתה יודוך אחיך, ידך בעורף אויביך וישתחוו לך בני אביך. I will translate only the first 4 words. יהודה, אתה, you, יודוך אחיך. Your brothers will thank you or admit you. In the Targum Yerushalmi, it says the following. יהודה, אתה יודוך אחיך, יהודה, to you, all your brothers will admit, ועל שמך יתקרון כל יהודאי. And on your name will be called all the Jews, even the sons of Reuven and Shimon and Levi, all of them will be called on your name. And the question is why? We all Bnei Israel, that's true. Why? We are not all Bnei Yehuda. And if you take the Bible, take the Tanakh. In the Tanakh, you will find out that the entire Tanakh, we called in the Tanakh Bnei Israel. Only from certain point and down, we started to be called Yehudim. Let's say in Megillat Esther, you find, right? ויבקש המן להרוג את כל היהודים, להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד את כל היהודים. Why? What was the switch? I'm not talking about the technical historical thing, but about the real depth of it. And with this, we'll go to us. We are here. We have to understand the following. Yehuda and Israel are actually the two sides of the same coin. If you take a coin, you have two sides, right? It's the same coin, but it looks different from this side or the other side, right? As we said before, Israel is actually the entire philosophy in one word. The entire philosophy of the Jewish nation, that Hashem is the ruler. Israel, Hashem is the ruler. When we were in Eretz Israel, after we entered the country, after we get the Torah in the Midbar, we went to Eretz Israel, was Beit HaMikdash, we were called Israel in the entire Tanakh. Until we went to exile. When we went to exile, what happened? We are now among the non-Jews, among the Goyim. And the Goyim do not like us, as I said before, because what we represent. We represent that there is only one real significant power. And they refuse to accept that. They want to do whatever they want. Therefore, they have a supermarket of gods, and they choose each one that they want. So they could not stand our philosophy that there is only one God. If there is one God, there is one truth. And the truth is one, and it's total, and absolute, and anything that not this truth is a lie. That's what drives them crazy, and because of that, in the entire generations, they want to kill us, to eliminate us. When we were in Eretz Israel, before the exile, we were in our place, in the place that Hashem chose for us, and was the dwelling of God among us over there in Beit HaMikdash. Because we sinned, מפני חטאינו, גלינו מארצנו, Hashem put us in exile. What happened when we are in exile? We're in a very, very dangerous situation. We are among and under the rulers of the nations of the world that do not like us. And our journey in exile during the history was not pleasant at all, to say the least. They were hating us, killing us, all the pogroms. When you are not in your place in Eretz Israel, you switch from Israel to Yehuda. What is Yehuda? Remember the definition? The definition why Mordechai called Yehudi? שכל הכופר בעבודה זרה נקרא יהודי. When you are among the nations, you have the challenge of their belief, of their faith. So you have to stand strongly on your and say, no, I'm not you, I'm me. I represent the truth. When I was in Eretz Israel, when the Jewish nation was in Eretz Israel, we do not care about denying the philosophy of the Goyim, because we were in our place. But when you, under their responsibility, under their rules, you have a lot of challenges. And we know how many Jews was burned to death because they refused to give up their philosophy, their religion, right? So then we become Yehuda. Yehuda is, as I said, it's the other side of the coin. It's the same coin, but it's the other side. Now I have to say, I'm not believe in the idols or the other philosophies but the truth. But actually, Yehuda in Israel is the same. After all this, basically philosophical ideas, let's go back to reality. The situation today of the Jewish people in the world is really not in a good shape. Let me give you the numbers. The statistic says, I don't know how accurate it is, but in big numbers, that the population of the world today is 8.6 billion people in the world. 8.6. 1% of it is 80 million, approximately. 8.6 million people. The number of Jews all over the world today is maybe close to 15 million. It means that we are 1/5 of the percent of the population of the world. All the Jews, all over the world. Out of this 15 million Jews, you could say, bezirut, not that maybe 2 million out of the 15 million are keeping the Torah, not just an idea on the bookshelf, but in their life. They're running their life according to the laws of Torah that we got in Har Sinai. With everything, not playing games, eating kosher, keeping Shabbat, doing everything that the Torah says. Maybe 2 million. We're talking about maybe 13 million who are far from this. Some of them do not know altogether that they are Jewish. Some of them know it, but they're indifferent to it. Some of them know it and they hate it. And there is such a phenomenon also. And this is very, very sad. We are altogether 1/5 of the percent of the population of the world. And within this, more than 10 million are not actually performing Jewish life. Jewish life, I mean, not to be tradition, to do things according to what Hashem gave us in the Torah in Har Sinai. Very sad. Now, there is a reason for this. We are in exile. Exile is not just you are not in your territory. The Jewish nation is not in their territory. The main exile is a cultural exile. We live among the Goyim. Few generations within this culture cause Jews to be mixed with the non-Jews. They do not know the basic of what Judaism is all about. Basic. And they live their life like all the people around them. And we have to know, it's really should bother every Jew. Because, everyone heard about the Holocaust, and we all angry about the Nazis, Yimach Shemam v'Zichram. They took and they murdered people just because they're Jewish, because they want to eliminate the Jewish nation. And every year we have a Holocaust museum. We have a Yom HaShoah, a day of the Holocaust. We're mentioning that. Why? Because something terrible happened 80 years ago. 1/3 of the Jewish nation was murdered, was eliminated. Now let me ask you a very hard question. You know how many Jews we lost in the last 80 years? In America, 1945, the number of Jews in America right after World War II was 6 million. The numbers of Jews today in America, 8 years later, is 6 million. You know how many Jews we lost? By intermarriage, by just getting lost, because they're not with us. It doesn't matter for us. The loss is no difference if we lost the Jews in the gas chambers or with just losing them because they're not belong or identify themselves with the Jewish people anymore. And identifying themselves with the Jewish people, we have to understand, Judaism is believing in one God and the Torah that He gave and running our life according to this. So we are in a big Holocaust. We are in a big Holocaust. When we are here, those people who came today to this Bet Knesset, to this synagogue, to this shul, they have some connection to Judaism. There are many, many others that never put their feet in a shul ever, in a synagogue ever. We should really care about this. What are we going to do in order to make our Jewish identity stronger? So it starts for education. But it's not just school, it's role modeling. You know, you could send your kid to a Jewish school, but if you're running your life not in the Jewish way, so what the kids see? That the parents say, yeah, you have to be Jewish, but themselves, they do not do performing this. There's nothing anti-Judaism, anti-educating than this. And we have to understand, I'm saying it very strong. We are in a big, quiet Holocaust. It's Holocaust. It's nothing less than Holocaust. Because we're losing our brothers and sisters. And it should bother us. And what we have to do is to get closer to the Torah, to Hashem, to learn, to know more about Judaism. In this way, we will be more sure, and we could pass it to the next generation. If we have doubt, how will we make our children connected to this? So this is the mission of this generation. This is the mission of the day. This is the mission of every Jew in the world. To get closer to the truth, because Hashem chose us. Even the Goyim, the nations of the world, called us the chosen people. They know that 3,300 years ago, when their fathers or parents, whatever, 3,300 years ago, they were idol worshippers. They were completely primitive. They admit that at that time, one nation was merited to hear God himself. That's what Christians believe in, right? So they know our value as a chosen people, and we do not even care about this. We have the gift. God, the master of the universe, the creator of everything, he chose us to be his nation. So we must understand, learn this treasure, learn the Torah, become closer to Hashem, and perform Jewish life. And that's what we have to do. And I hope, you know, from all those ideas, which is, some of them are abstract and philosophical, but it comes down to the bottom line of what we have to do if we care about the Jewish nation. We are now witnessing Holocaust. We see so many people, I'm sure, unfortunately, that each one of you know relatives, know friends, that their children assimilated. And their grandchildren are not Jewish anymore. This is terrible. You see the burning, the Jewish nation burning in front of your eyes. You cannot be indifferent. You should do something about it. And the first thing is to make ourselves strong. Then gather together as many Jews as we can to make them proud to be Jewish. This is the mission of the time today. So that, I think, what we could mention in this big topic called Jewish identity in our generation in the modern time, just to awake the people and make them think about it, and not just think, but do something about it. And Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem will see how He wants to be close to Him again, and He will redeem us and send us the real Geulah and Mashiach Tzidkenu b'meira b'yameinu. Okay.